She called me ugly in front of 15 guests and left me with a $2,347 bill. Be grateful I even dated you, she said before kissing another man. Next morning, she had 89 missed calls, but none were for me, because while she was celebrating, I was opening files she never knew existed. My name is Everett Sinclair. I'm 43, VP of Operations at National Logistics Company. Married 15 years to Sienna, who turned 40 last Tuesday. We have 2 kids, Isaac, 13, and Harper, 9. I thought we had a good life. I was wrong. Sienna insisted on celebrating at Harborview, an upscale seafood restaurant overlooking the marina. She wanted 15 of her influencer friends there, the whole lifestyle blogger crowd. I reserved the private room, ordered champagne, arranged everything she asked for. She walked in wearing a red dress I'd never seen, barely glancing at me as she greeted her guests. They posed for photos, laughed too loud, drank expensive wine I hadn't ordered. I sat at the head of the table like furniture. Dinner went fine until dessert. Sienna stood up, wine glass raised, already tipsy. Her friends went quiet, phones pointed at her. I want to thank everyone for coming, my wife announced, her voice carrying the performative tone she used online. Especially my husband Everett. She waved toward me without looking. I raised my glass, smiling. You know, it takes a special man to support a woman like me, Sienna continued. Someone who knows his place. She paused. Look at him. Really look. The room temperature dropped. I lowered my glass. He's not exactly attractive, is he? Sienna laughed. Some of her friends joined nervously. That receding hairline. Those dad jeans. But he has his uses, I suppose. My throat went tight. I thought about Isaac, asking last week why Mom was always on her phone. About Harper, who'd stopped showing Sienna her drawings. Be grateful I even dated you, Everett, my wife said clearly, deliberately. Be grateful I married you. Someone actually clapped. Another laughed openly. Then Sienna walked over to Preston Gallagher, her business associate, seated 3 chairs down, and kissed him on the mouth. Not quick. A statement. Now that's a real man, she announced. She grabbed her purse, linked arms with Preston, and headed for the exit. All 15 guests followed, leaving half-eaten desserts and empty glasses behind. The server appeared with the check. $2,347. She set it down with sympathetic eyes. I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't speak. Just pulled out my card, paid, added 30% tip, and photographed the receipt. Not from anger. Not for revenge. Because I needed to remember the exact moment I stopped pretending. I drove home in silence. The house was dark, kids asleep, babysitter gone. I walked upstairs to my office and unlocked my laptop. The small gray icon in the corner, the one Sienna never noticed, opened to a black screen. Password protected. I typed the code. The interface loaded. Clean folders labeled with dates, names, locations. Years of documentation. I uploaded the receipt, cross-referenced it with 6 months of cellular data. Preston Gallagher's name appeared 17 times, matched with Sienna's GPS coordinates. Hotels, restaurants, a Delaware beach house. I opened another folder. Bank statements. Cash withdrawals Sienna couldn't explain. Credit card charges at jewelry stores. $50,000 transferred from joint to personal accounts. Then the college fund folder. Empty. $183,000 gone. Traced to a Shell LLC under Preston's mother's maiden name. My children's future, stolen. I sat back and stared at the screen. No anger yet. Just cold clarity. Sienna thought she'd married someone simple. Someone who'd stay quiet. She had no idea who I was. I slept better that night than I had in months. No tossing, no checking my phone, no wondering where Sienna was. Just 8 solid hours of dreamless sleep. When you finally stop lying to yourself, peace comes easy. My alarm went off at 6. I showered, dressed in my usual work clothes, and went downstairs. Isaac and Harper were already at the kitchen table, eating cereal. The babysitter, Mrs. Chun, looked exhausted. Your wife never came home, Mr. Sinclair, she said quietly, glancing at the kids. Should I be worried? No need, I replied calmly. She's staying with a friend. Thanks for watching them overnight. I'll transfer the extra hours today. Mrs. Chen nodded, gathered her things, and left. Isaac watched me over his bowl, his 13-year-old brain already calculating something was wrong. Dad, is Mom okay? my son asked. She's fine, I said, pouring coffee. Eat up. School in 30 minutes. Harper looked up from her cereal. Daddy, why didn't Mommy say goodnight last night? I knelt down beside her chair, brushed hair from her face. Sometimes grown-ups have complicated nights, sweetheart. But you and Isaac are my priority. Always. She nodded, not quite understanding, but trusting me anyway. After I dropped them at school, I drove to my office downtown. 43rd floor, corner view, overlooking the harbor. My assistant, Jennifer, handed me coffee and my schedule. Morning, Everett, she said. You have the quarterly logistics meeting at 10, then lunch with the Memphis distribution team. Thanks, Jen. I walked into my office and closed the door. My phone sat on the desk, face down. I'd silenced it before bed. Now I flipped it over. 89 missed calls. All from Sienna. 43 text messages. 27 voicemails. I didn't open any of them. Instead, I forwarded everything to a secure cloud folder, tagged with timestamps, and continued my morning routine. At 9:45, Jennifer knocked. Everett, your wife is calling the office line. She says it's urgent. Tell her I'm in meetings all day, I said without looking up from my computer. And Jennifer? If she calls again, same response. Understood. The logistics meeting went smoothly. I presented our Q3 efficiency improvements, approved 2 new distribution centers, and authorized equipment upgrades in Atlanta. Business as usual. Around noon, my personal cell rang again. Sienna. I declined it and opened my lunch. My work phone buzzed. Text from my younger brother, Nathan, who worked as a private investigator in the city. Got your email this morning. Started background on Preston Gallagher. You were right. This goes deep. Call me tonight. I replied with a thumbs up and deleted the message. At 2 p.m., Jennifer appeared again, looking uncomfortable. Everett, I'm sorry, but your wife is in the lobby. Security called. She's demanding to see you. I lean back in my chair, steeple my fingers. Tell security to inform her I'm unavailable. If she refuses to leave, they should remind her this is private property and she's not authorized to be here without an appointment. Jennifer hesitated. Are you sure? Completely. She left. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Text from Sienna, all caps. Why are you doing this? Answer me. I screenshotted it, added it to the evidence folder, and returned to work. By 5 p.m., when I left the office, my missed calls had reached 112. Voicemails ranged from angry to pleading to confused. Text messages followed the same pattern. Everett, we need to talk. Stop being childish. You're overreacting. Please, just call me back. I'm sorry, okay? Can we please talk? I read each one clinically, the way I'd review a shipping manifest. Documented, categorized, stored. Then I drove to my brother Nathan's office across town. He lived above a bail bonds place, ran his PI business from a converted loft. When I walked in, he had files spread across his desk. Nathan said, standing to shake my hand. Man, you weren't kidding. Preston Gallagher is a piece of work. Tell me, I said, sitting down. Nathan slid a folder across. Married. 2 kids. Wife's name is Diana. She has no idea. He's got 3 other women on rotation, all thinking they're special. Your wife is just the current favorite. My jaw tightened. What else? The LLC you traced. It's part of a bigger scheme. He's been running this con for years. Targets married women with money, convinces them to liquidate assets, funnels it through shell companies. Then he disappears. How much has he taken total? Nathan flipped a page. Best estimate? North of $2 million from 6 different women over 8 years. I sat back, absorbing the information. So Sienna isn't special. She's a mark. Exactly. Nathan closed the folder. What do you want to do? I looked at my brother, former Marine, current PI, the one person I trusted completely. I want everything, I said quietly. Every transaction, every woman, every lie. And I want Diana Gallagher's contact information. Nathan smiled grimly. Already pulled it. Check your email. Good man. My phone buzzed again. Sienna. Call number 118. I declined it and drove home to my kids. Elena Martinez had been our nanny for 3 years. Quiet, reliable, the kind of woman who loved my kids like her own. She came from Guatemala, sent money home to her mother, never missed a day of work. Thursday morning, she asked to speak with me privately. Mr. Sinclair, Elena said nervously, glancing toward where Isaac and Harper were watching TV. I need to show you something. I've been scared too, but after Tuesday night, I can't stay quiet anymore. She pulled a small notebook from her purse, the kind you'd buy at a dollar store. Her hand shook as she handed it to me. I've been writing things down, Elena said quietly. For 2 years. The things Mrs. Sinclair says to the children when you're not home. The men who come to the house. I was afraid I'd lose my job, but those babies deserve better. I opened the notebook. Her handwriting was careful, each entry dated and detailed. March 15th. Mrs. Sinclair told Isaac he was stupid like his father when he couldn't finish his math homework. He cried for an hour. June 3rd. Harper showed her mother a drawing. Mrs. Sinclair said it was ugly and threw it away. Harper didn't draw for 2 weeks. August 12th. A man named Preston came to the house at 2 p.m. They went upstairs for 3 hours. I had to keep the children outside. Page after page. 24 months of documentation. My wife's cruelty, laid bare in Elena's precise notes. My hands tightened on the notebook. Elena, why didn't you tell me sooner? I was scared, sir, she whispered. Mrs. Sinclair said if I ever told you anything, she'd call immigration on me. My papers are good, but I was afraid. I looked at this woman who'd protected my children while being threatened. Elena, you're not losing your job, and I need you to testify to what you've seen. Can you do that? She nodded, tears in her eyes. For Isaac and Harper, yes. Thank you. I stood, walked to my safe, and pulled out an envelope with $5,000 cash. This is for your courage, and your salary just doubled. Elena tried to refuse, but I insisted. You protected my kids when their own mother wouldn't. That's worth everything. After she left, I called Nathan. I need you to secure a witness. Our nanny. She's got 2 years of documented abuse. On it, Nathan replied. Also, I contacted Diana Gallagher, Preston's wife. She wants to meet you. When? Tomorrow. Neutral location. She's bringing her own evidence. I looked at Elena's journal on my desk. The walls were closing in on Sienna and Preston. They just didn't know it yet. My phone buzzed. Sienna. Call 147. I declined it and made dinner for my kids. Saturday morning, I took Isaac and Harper to the park. Normal father things. Pushing Harper on the swings, throwing a football with Isaac. But my mind was on the envelope in my glove compartment. 3 weeks ago, I'd taken both kids for what I told them were routine checkups. The pediatrician, an old friend from college, had quietly collected DNA samples. No questions asked. The results came back yesterday. Isaac, 99.9% probability of paternity. My son, Harper, 0% probability of paternity. Not my daughter. Biologically. I'd sat in my car for 20 minutes after reading that second result, staring at the paper like it might change. But numbers don't lie. Harper, with her bright smile and her love for drawing, wasn't mine by blood. She was Preston Gallagher's. The affair had been going on for at least 10 years. Sienna had gotten pregnant, convinced me Harper was mine, and I'd never questioned it. Why would I? She had my eyes, people said. My temperament. All lies. But here's what Sienna didn't understand. Biology doesn't make a father. I'd been there for Harper's first steps, her first words, every nightmare and scraped knee. I'd braided her hair and read her bedtime stories and taught her to ride a bike. She was my daughter. Papers didn't change that. What they did change was custody. Because now I had proof Sienna had committed paternity fraud, that she'd lied for nearly a decade, that she'd stolen not just money, but truth. Dad, Harper called from the swings. Push me higher. I walked over, pushed her gently, watch her laugh. You got it, sweetheart. Isaac appeared beside me. Dad, something's wrong. You've been different since Tuesday. My son, too smart for his own good. I knelt down. Isaac, your mom and I are having serious problems. But you and Harper are safe. I promise you that. Is she coming back? Isaac asked quietly. I don't know. I said honestly. But wherever this goes, you two are my priority. Always. Isaac nodded slowly, then went back to the climbing structure. That afternoon, I met Diana Gallagher at a coffee shop in the next town over. She was 41, attractive, exhausted. 2 kids of her own, both in elementary school. Mr. Sinclair, Diana said, sitting across from me. Thank you for meeting. Call me Everett. And thank you for coming. She slid a folder across the table. Preston's been doing this for 8 years. Your wife is number 7. He targets married women with assets, seduces them, convinces them to liquidate funds. Then he moves on. I know, I said. My brother's PI uncovered most of it. Diana's jaw tightened. What you might not know is that he has another child. With wife number 4. A daughter he's never met. Never paid for. My stomach dropped. Harper. You know. I pulled out the DNA results. Just confirmed. She's his biologically. Mine in every other way. Diana read the document. Then looked up with fierce determination. We need to destroy him. Together. Agreed, I said. What do you have? Financial records. Emails. Text messages. And I'm filing for divorce Monday. I want full custody. And I want him prosecuted for fraud. I extended my hand. Then let's make sure he loses everything. She shook it firmly. Starting now. Sienna made her move on Thanksgiving. She called my parents, crying, telling them I'd locked her out and turned the kids against her. Said she just wanted to see her family for the holiday. My mother, bless her heart, believed it. She called me Wednesday night. Everett, honey, Sienna says you won't let her see Isaac and Harper for Thanksgiving. Mom said gently, I know you're having problems, but it's family time. Mom, there's a lot you don't know. Then, come to dinner tomorrow. Both of you. We'll talk like adults. I paused, thinking, then smiled. All right, we'll be there at 2. I called Nathan immediately. Change of plans. Thanksgiving just became evidence collection day. What do you need? Nathan asked. Meet me at my parents' house tomorrow. 1:30. Bring Diana Gallagher and all the documentation. Thursday afternoon, I arrived at my parents' home with Isaac and Harper. My father opened the door, former Army colonel, still built like he could run a marathon. Son, Dad said, shaking my hand firmly. Your mother's worried. I know, Dad. That's about to change. Sienna was already inside, playing the victim perfectly. Red eyes, tissue in hand, hugging my sister Rachel. When she saw me, her face shifted to hope. Everett, thank God. We need to talk. We will, I interrupted calmly. After dinner. The meal was tense. Sienna kept trying to engage me, touch my hand, smile at the kids. Isaac and Harper stayed close to me, barely speaking to their mother. At 4 p.m., the doorbell rang. I stood. That'll be for me. I opened the door. Nathan stood there with Diana Gallagher and Catherine Stone, the attorney I'd hired 2 days ago. What's going on? My mother asked nervously. Family meeting, I said. Everyone, please sit down. I placed a thick folder on the dining table. My parents, my sister Rachel, my brother Scott, all stared. Sienna has been having an affair with Preston Gallagher for 10 years. I began calmly. She stole $183,000 from our children's college funds. And she's been verbally abusing Isaac and Harper for years. Sienna's face went white. Everett, what are you? This is Diana Gallagher. I continued, gesturing. Preston's wife. And this is Catherine Stone, my attorney. Diana stepped forward. Your daughter-in-law has been sleeping with my husband. He's a con artist who's defrauded 7 women. Sienna is number 7. My mother's hand went to her mouth. My father's jaw tightened. That's not all, I said. I pulled out the DNA results. Harper isn't my biological daughter. She's Preston's. Sienna lied for 9 years. The room went dead silent. My father stood slowly, his colonel's voice returning. Sienna, is this true? Sienna tried to speak, but nothing came out. Get out of my house, Dad said quietly. Now. Now, my father roared. Sienna grabbed her purse and fled, tears streaming. Nobody stopped her. My mother looked at me with devastated eyes. Everett, why didn't you tell us sooner? Because I needed you to see it for yourselves, I said gently. So when this goes to court, you'll know why I'm fighting. Dad put his hand on my shoulder. We're with you, son. Whatever you need. Harper climbed into my lap. Daddy, I'm scared. I held her close. I know, sweetheart. But you're safe now. Monday morning, I got the call I've been expecting. Principal Anderson from Riverside Academy, the private school Isaac and Harper attended. Mr. Sinclair, we need to discuss a situation, Anderson said carefully. Several parents have expressed concerns about Mrs. Sinclair's position on the PTA board. What kind of concerns? I asked, though I already knew. The videos from the restaurant incident have been circulating. Parents are uncomfortable with her representing the school. The restaurant had security cameras. Someone, probably Nathan, had made sure that footage found its way to the right people. There's an emergency PTA meeting tonight at 7, Anderson continued. Your presence might be beneficial. I arrived at 6:45. The school auditorium was packed, over 200 parents. Sienna sat in the front row, chin up, trying to look confident. She hadn't seen me come in. Principal Anderson called the meeting to order. We're here to discuss the PDA board composition and recent concerns. A mother in the third row stood. Margaret Shunn, doctor's wife, 3 kids at Riverside. I'll be direct. Sienna Sinclair publicly humiliated her husband at a restaurant, on camera, in front of their children's friends' parents. That's not the kind of person who should represent our school. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Another parent stood. She also posted online about it, bragging. That shows a complete lack of judgment. Sienna tried to defend herself. That was a private matter between my husband and me. Nothing's private when you film it for your influencer friends. Margaret interrupted sharply. Some of us saw the videos. What you did was cruel and calculated. A man in the back stood. I recognized him as David Park, corporate attorney, 2 daughters at the school. I've also heard concerning reports about financial improprieties. Is it true you misappropriated your children's education funds? The room went silent. All eyes turned to Sienna. That's a lie, Sienna said, voice rising. My husband is trying to destroy me. Mr. Sinclair, would you like to address this? Principal Anderson asked, spotting me. I stood slowly, walked to the front. Parents shifted to watch. I didn't come here to destroy anyone, I said calmly. I came to protect my kids. Yes, my wife stole from their college funds. Yes, I have documentation. And yes, it's now in the hands of my attorney and the authorities. I looked directly at Sienna. What you did at that restaurant wasn't a private matter. You made it public. These are the consequences. Margaret Chin stood again. I moved to remove Sienna Sinclair from the PDA board, effective immediately. Seconded, 3 parents said simultaneously. Principal Anderson looked uncomfortable. All in favor. Nearly every hand in the auditorium went up. Motion passes, Anderson said quietly. Mrs. Sinclair, I'm sorry, but you're removed from the board. Sienna stood, trembling with rage and humiliation. You're all going to regret this. No, Margaret said firmly. You're going to regret teaching our children that cruelty has no consequences. Sienna grabbed her bag and stormed out. Not a single person followed her. After the meeting, several parents approached me. Everett, we had no idea what you were dealing with, Margaret said. If you need character references for custody, call me. 5 other parents offered the same. I thanked them, collected their information, and drove home. Isaac was waiting up. Dad, kids at school are talking, saying stuff about Mom. I know, buddy. It's going to be hard for a while. Is she really a bad person? Isaac asked quietly. I knelt down. She made bad choices. But you and Harper are good people, and that's what matters. He nodded slowly. I'm glad you're my dad. Those words, right there, made everything worth it. Sunday afternoon, while Isaac and Harper were at my parents' house, I sat in my office completing a project I'd started 3 weeks ago. A digital vault, encrypted and time-locked, containing everything they'd need to understand when they were older. The folder structure was simple. Videos, documents, timeline, evidence. I recorded a 30-minute video message, looking directly at the camera. Isaac, Harper, if you're watching this, you're 18 years old. Old enough to understand the truth about what happened to our family. I explained everything calmly, factually. The affair, the theft, the paternity fraud. I showed documents, played audio recordings, displayed bank statements. Not to poison them against their mother, but to give them truth. Harper, sweetheart, you're going to learn something difficult in this vault. Biologically, I'm not your father. Preston Gallagher is. But biology doesn't make a family. I chose to be your dad every single day. I chose you, and I'll keep choosing you for the rest of my life. I included Elena's journal, the DNA results, every piece of evidence from the case. Then I added something else, positive memories. Photos of birthdays, family vacations, soccer games. Videos of Harper's dance recitals, Isaac's basketball tournaments. I don't want you to remember only the pain, I said to the camera. I want you to remember that your dad fought for you, protected you, and loved you enough to tell you the truth when you were ready to hear it. I encrypted the vault with a dual key system. One key would automatically unlock on Isaac's 18th birthday, the second on Harper's. Both keys were held by Nathan and my attorney Catherine, with instructions to deliver them on those dates. Mr. Sinclair, Elena called from downstairs. The children are back. I closed the laptop, backed up everything to 3 separate secure servers, and went downstairs. Harper ran to me immediately. Daddy, Grandma made cookies. Did you save me some? I asked, scooping her up. Maybe, she giggled. Isaac hung back, watching carefully. Later that night, after Harper went to bed, he knocked on my office door. Dad, can I ask you something? Always, buddy. Come in. Isaac sat down, fidgeting with his hands. Some kids at school are saying stuff about Mom. About Harper. That she's not really your daughter. My chest tightened. What do you think about that? I think biology doesn't matter, Isaac said firmly. Harper's my sister. You're her dad. That's it. I felt pride swell in my chest. You're absolutely right. And Isaac, when this is all over, when you're both older, I'll explain everything. But right now, I need you to trust me. I do, Dad. I always will. After he left, I sat alone in the dark office. The vault was complete. The evidence secured. When my children were ready, they have every answer. But tonight, they just needed their father. And that's exactly what they'd get. Dr. Patricia Taylor arrived at our house on a Tuesday morning. Court-appointed psychologist, 25 years experience, reputation for being brutally honest in custody evaluations. Mr. Sinclair, Dr. Taylor said, shaking my hand. I'll be spending about 4 hours here today, observing you with the children, asking questions, evaluating the home environment. Whatever you need, I replied. She started by touring the house, checked the kids' bedrooms, noted the clean spaces, the homework area I'd set up in the dining room, the family photos on the walls. Tell me about your typical day with Isaac and Harper, Dr. Taylor said, taking notes. I walked her through it. Morning routine, breakfast together, school drop-off, after-school activities, dinner, homework help, bedtime. And when Mrs. Sinclair lived here, how was it different? She was often absent. Business trips, influencer events, girls' nights. I handled most of the parenting even before the separation. Dr. Taylor made notes. The children's teachers provided reports. Both kids have maintained good grades throughout this situation. That's unusual in high-conflict divorces. I've tried to keep their lives stable. She interviewed Isaac first. I waited in the kitchen, unable to hear their conversation. 45 minutes later, Isaac emerged, looking relieved. She's nice, Dad. Asked about school, basketball, how I'm feeling. Harper went next, only 30 minutes. She came out holding a drawing she'd made during the session. I drew our family, Harper said, showing Dr. Taylor. That's Daddy. That's Isaac. That's me. And that's our dog we're getting. You're getting a dog? Dr. Taylor asked, smiling slightly. Daddy promised when everything calms down, Harper explained seriously. After the kids went to play outside, Dr. Taylor sat across from me at the kitchen table. Mr. Sinclair, I've reviewed all the evidence. Elena's journal, the financial records, the DNA results. I've also interviewed your wife. And I asked carefully. Mrs. Sinclair presents with narcissistic personality traits, minimal empathy toward the children, and a concerning lack of remorse for her actions. She spent most of our session focused on herself, her reputation, her victimization. Dr. Taylor flipped through her notes. In contrast, your children show strong attachment to you, age-appropriate emotional development despite the circumstances, and consistent statements about feeling safe in your care. What's your recommendation going to be? She looked at me directly. Primary custody to you, with limited supervised visitation for their mother. Isaac and Harper need stability, consistency, and a parent who puts them first. That's you, Mr. Sinclair. Relief washed over me. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm just reporting what I observed. Dr. Taylor stood. My official report will be filed with the court by Friday. Be prepared for Mrs. Sinclair's attorney to challenge it. They always do. After she left, I called Catherine. The evaluation went well. She's recommending primary custody. Excellent. That's the final piece we needed. Court date is set for 2 weeks from Thursday. We're going to win this, Everett. That night, I made the kids' favorite dinner, spaghetti and meatballs. We ate together, laughing about Isaac's terrible joke about a basketball-playing octopus. Normal family moments. After they went to bed, I checked my phone. Message from Diana Gallagher. Preston's been arrested. Fraud charges. 7 counts. He's looking at 15 years. I typed back. Good. 1 down. Then I went upstairs, checked on both kids sleeping peacefully, and allowed myself a moment of hope. We were going to be okay. 3 weeks later, I stood in Judge Harold Patterson's courtroom for the final custody hearing. Catherine Stone had flown in from Seattle specifically for this, bringing a reputation that made opposing attorneys nervous. Sienna sat across the aisle, thinner than I remembered, wearing a conservative navy dress her attorney probably chose. Preston was already in federal custody, awaiting trial. Diana Gallagher had filed for divorce and full custody of their 2 kids. The empire was crumbling. Your Honor, Catherine began, standing with perfect posture. We're seeking permanent full custody of Isaac and Harper Sinclair, with supervised visitation only for Mrs. Sinclair. Sienna's attorney, James Mitchell, stood quickly. Your Honor, my client has made mistakes, but she's still their mother. She deserves meaningful time with her children. Judge Patterson, a man in his late 60s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense reputation, looked over his reading glasses. Mr. Mitchell, I've reviewed the case file. The mistakes you mention include paternity fraud, theft of college funds, documented emotional abuse, and adultery. Those aren't mistakes. Those are choices. Mitchell tried again. Mrs. Sinclair has enrolled in therapy, Your Honor. She's taking steps to improve. She enrolled in therapy 2 weeks ago. Catherine interrupted smoothly. After 10 years of damaging behavior. That's not rehabilitation, Your Honor. That's damage control. Catherine approached the bench with a folder. We have testimony from 17 witnesses. Teachers, coaches, parents from a children's school. All describe Mr. Sinclair as the primary caregiver. All describe Mrs. Sinclair as absent or dismissive. She pulled out Elena's journal. 2 years of documented verbal abuse. Isaac was called stupid. Harper was told her artwork was worthless. Both children developed anxiety that improved dramatically once in their father's full-time care. Judge Patterson read Elena's entries, his expression darkening. Mrs. Sinclair, do you dispute these accounts? Sienna stood shakily. I never meant to hurt them. I was under stress. You told your 9-year-old daughter her drawings were ugly. Judge Patterson said flatly. You called your 13-year-old son stupid. Under what stress is that acceptable? Sienna had no answer. Catherine continued. Dr. Taylor's psychological evaluation found narcissistic personality disorder, low empathy, and inability to prioritize the children's needs. In contrast, Mr. Sinclair scored exceptionally high in all parental bonding metrics. What about the paternity issue? Judge Patterson asked. Harper is biologically Preston Gallagher's daughter, Catherine confirmed. Mrs. Sinclair committed paternity fraud for 9 years. Despite this, Mr. Sinclair has chosen to remain Harper's father in every meaningful way. He's pursuing legal adoption to formalize what has always been true. He is her dad. Judge Patterson made notes, then looked at me. Mr. Sinclair, do you have anything to add? I stood. Your Honor, I'm not here to punish their mother. I'm here to protect my kids. They need stability, honesty, and a parent who puts them first. I've done it their entire lives, and I'll keep doing it. The judge nodded slowly. This court finds that the children's best interests are clearly served by awarding full legal and physical custody to Everett Sinclair. He looked at Sienna. Mrs. Sinclair, you will have supervised visitation for hours per month until such time as you can demonstrate genuine rehabilitation. Not therapy appointments, but actual behavioral change verified by a court-appointed monitor. Sienna sobbed quietly. Mitchell put a hand on her shoulder. Furthermore, Judge Patterson continued, Mr. Sinclair is granted permission to pursue adoption of Harper, with Mr. Gallagher's parental rights to be terminated due to fraud and abandonment. The gavel came down. This matter is concluded. Catherine shook my hand. Congratulations, Everett. Your children are safe. Outside the courtroom, Nathan was waiting with Isaac and Harper. My daughter ran to me immediately. Did we win, Daddy? Harper asked. Yes, sweetheart. We won. Isaac stood back, more reserved. What happens to Mom? She gets to see you sometimes, with supervision. But you live with me now. Permanently. He nodded, relief visible on his face. Good. That evening, I made their favorite dinner again, letting them pick the movie for family night. We watched some animated film about dragons, Harper laughing at every joke, Isaac pretending to be too old for cartoons, but smiling anyway. Normal. Finally, beautifully normal. After they went to bed, I sat in my office and opened the digital vault one last time. Added the final core documents, Judge Patterson's ruling, the adoption paperwork I'd filed that afternoon. Someday, when they were 18, they'd open this vault and understand everything. But tonight, they were just kids who needed their dad. And I was exactly where I was supposed to be. April brought warm weather and cherry blossoms. Isaac made the varsity basketball team for next year. Harper's artwork won a school competition. We adopted a golden retriever puppy named Murphy, who immediately became Harper's shadow. I stood in my backyard on a Saturday morning, watching Isaac teach Harper how to shoot free throws. Murphy barked excitedly, chasing the ball every time it bounced away. "You're improving, Squirt," Isaac told his sister encouragingly. "Just keep your elbow in." Harper tried again, the ball swishing through the net. She jumped up and down, victorious. My phone buzzed. Text from Nathan. "Preston got 15 years. Diana got full custody. Everything's final." I replied, "Good. How's Diana doing?" "Better. Started a support group for fraud victims. She's helping other women avoid what happened to her." I smiled, pocketed my phone. Diana had turned her pain into purpose. Respect. Elena appeared on the back porch, carrying lemonade. "Mr. Sinclair, the children need drinks." "Elena, I've told you 100 times. Call me Everett." She smiled. "Old habits, sir." Elena's testimony had been crucial in court. Afterward, I'd increased her salary again and helped her bring her mother from Guatemala legally. She lived in our guest house now, family in every way that mattered. That afternoon, we drove to my parents' house for Sunday dinner. Isaac and Harper ran ahead to their grandparents, who spoiled them relentlessly. My father pulled me aside. "Son, I'm proud of you. The way you handled everything, protected those kids, never lost your temper. That's real strength." "Thanks, Dad. I learned from the best." Mom hugged Harper tightly. "My beautiful granddaughter. Did you bring me new artwork?" "Yes, Grandma." Harper pulled papers from her backpack, showing off her competition-winning piece. Isaac sat with my brother Scott, talking about basketball strategies. Normal family Sunday. Later, driving home, Harper asked, "Daddy, are we going to be okay forever now?" I looked at her in the rearview mirror. "Yes, sweetheart. We're going to be okay." "What about Mommy?" she asked quietly. Sienna had completed 6 months of therapy. Her supervised visits were going slightly better, though both kids remained distant. She'd lost everything. Her influencer career, her reputation, most of her friends. Preston's legal team had made sure she got nothing from his assets. "Your mom's trying to get better," I said carefully. "That's between her and her therapist. What matters is you two are safe and loved." Isaac, sitting in the front seat, looked at me. "Dad, I know I don't say it much, but thanks. For everything." "You don't have to thank me, buddy. Being your dad is the best thing I've ever done." That night, after both kids were asleep, I sat on the back porch with Murphy at my feet. The house was quiet, peaceful. My phone buzzed. Email notification. The digital vault system sending me a confirmation. Time lock verified. Content secured until Isaac Sinclair's 18th birthday, June 15th, 2030. 8 years from now, my son would open that vault and understand everything. Harper would do the same 3 years later. But tonight, they were just kids who'd survived a storm and come out stronger. I thought about that night at Harborview Restaurant, Sienna calling me ugly, leaving me with that bill. How humiliated I'd felt. Now, I felt nothing but gratitude, because that night was when I stopped pretending, when I started protecting what mattered. Catherine Stone had called last week, checking in. "Everett, how are the kids?" "Thriving," I told her honestly. "And you?" "Better than I've been in years." "Good. You deserve it. You're one of the good ones." Sitting on my porch, watching stars appear in the darkening sky, I realized she was right. Not because I'd won, but because I'd fought for the right reasons. Sienna had weaponized shame, thinking it would destroy me. Instead, I documented truth, protected innocence, and built something better from the ruins. My phone buzzed one last time. Text from Diana. "Thank you for everything. Preston's behind bars. My kids are healing. We're moving forward." I replied, "You did the hard part. Proud of you." Then I turned off my phone, went inside, checked on Isaac and Harper one last time, and went to bed. Tomorrow, Isaac had a basketball game. Harper had our class. I had a logistics meeting. Normal, beautiful, hard-won normal. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.